Laid back Mickey here. Today we're going to go over tadpole trikes. Why would somebody get a tadpole over a delta trike? The difference between a tadpole and a delta trike is that a tadpole has two wheels in the front, kind of like what you would think a little tadpole frog is. The bigger body is in the front and the little tail's in the back. Same thing goes with a tadpole trike. It's mainly wider up front and then with a single wheel in back. A delta has two wheels in the back, like a delta triangle, right? And so you got two wheels in back and one in front. For years, like I would say in like the 80s and the 90s, there was a lot of delta trikes being made by Greenspeed, Haase. And there's different ones out there that were making them, and they're very popular because you could sit on them from the side and then whip your leg over. Over the years, we found that tadpole trikes were just as easy, if not easier, to get in. You can get in from the side, and you could also get in by backing in slowly. And now with grab handles, you could grab onto it and then back in slowly. One of the things about a delta trike that a lot of people like a Sun Trike or like a Greenspeed or Haase, is that the seat typically is higher. But if you're looking for a higher seat in a tadpole trike, go check out like the trikes, the Ramblers, the all-terrains. Also check out the Adventure Trike by Ice. Those are going to be higher seated as well, if not higher. The all-terrain and the Rambler, they're 24-inch wheels, so they actually bring you up a lot higher. So check those out if you're looking for a higher seated trike. On a delta trike, a lot of people think that they're sitting like on a seat, because a lot of the seats, if you look on like the Sun Seeker delta trikes, they're like a fat bicycle seat. But on a recumbent seat, it's more like a hammock style seat. You're sitting in it, you're more comfortable, you're more relaxed. And so that's a lot of feedback that I get, that you're sitting like in one, super comfortable, like I'm in my lazy boy, versus you're, on a chair or something like that, that is harder. So if you want something that's going to be a little bit more comfortable, I find that a lot of people are going into a tadpole trike over the delta traditional fat seat, which you don't have a lot of options for that. They don't add a lot of cushions and stuff for those ones, to where on a tadpole, you can get venti seat pads, you can get trike seat pads. So there's different options. There's different options for headrests that you can do, and a lot of seats lean further back and forward, all these different types of headrests. So you have so many more that I think of comfort options. And so if you want to be super comfortable, the tadpoles have more options. Also, why a tadpole trike is because you can actually transport it a million times easier. Like a delta is so much longer, and so if you put it on a rack, it's like sticking way up in the air. Or if you try to fit in your car, it's kind of too long. With the tadpole trikes, they could actually fold up to fit in your car. They could go on a rack nice where they're not sticking up super high. And so they're a lot easier to transport. I would say 99 out of 100 trikes sold are going to be a tadpole over a delta. Also, for maneuverability, a tadpole is going to have a smaller turning radius, so they can maneuver a little easier. People go, well, is a tadpole trike really that much better in turning radius? Yes and no. I mean, you have on a delta, on the front wheel, it can turn like a lot sharper on some of the trikes, but you got a longer body, so the radius is going to be a little bigger. On a tadpole trike, what you have is Ackerman steering. So when you go to turn, one wheel on the inside turns a lot sharper, allowing you to make a smaller circumference. And it kind of depends on the manufacturer. If you're really looking for the most maneuverability that you can, you're going to have to try out different trikes and see which ones you like. So one of the things we want to talk about as a difference between the delta trikes and the tadpole trikes is motors. Motors nowadays, I would say 7 out of 10 trikes are sold with motors, because it makes it easier to go up a hill. You could go further. If you have aches and pains, it makes it better. But on a delta trike, to put a motor on, you're probably going to have to put it on the front wheel, which is kind of pulling you versus pushing you. And you don't have a lot of options, because a lot of manufacturers don't sell motors for their trikes. They're not designing it. It'd be an afterthought, so you'd have to do an afterthought motor. And because a Delta on like a Haase or a Greenspeed, they're using a differential in back, you're not going to put the motor in back. You're going to have to either do something super custom as a mid-drive, which is not going to be very easy, or you're going to have to do a motor on the front wheel of a trike, and you're going to be like a 16-inch wheel or a 20-inch wheel on a Delta. So you don't have a lot of choices on motor. But as when you go into the tadpole world, you got Bosch, top German-made motor. You got Shimano, Japanese motor. Shimano is on all the components for trikes. You see them everywhere. You're going to have like LBC, EBO. Those motors are going to be custom motors with throttles and stuff like that. So you have a lot of different motors out there that you can get on a tadpole versus on a Delta. And you have a lot more options on a tadpole trike than you do on a Delta trike because they're just a lot more popular. So manufacturers are making more accessories for them. They're making more options like full suspension, non-suspension. So one of the other cool things about tadpole trikes is because a lot of manufacturers are making tadpole trikes, they can make them super sporty. So there are some that are low to the ground, aerodynamic, super fast. They're using carbon fiber seats. Some even use carbon fiber frames. So super lightweight. They're using some of the highest tech stuff. And then the Delta manufacturers, because they're not as popular, aren't doing as many innovations to them because they're just not designed for that. So if you want performance, if you want something that's easy to transport, if you want something where you have a lot of different trikes to choose from, I'd go into a tadpole trike over a Delta trike. Thanks for watching this video on the tadpole trike. Make sure to watch the next video to learn more, and remember to subscribe so you can check out all the cool videos we have coming up.